goes like a lot of years, had a lot of cheers, had a lot of days, gotta stop and stand. Lot of wants, I got a lot of fears, but know my time is here. I know my time is here. I'm saying you're not alone, I know. You got a time to grow and go and do what you do. Do what you do, do what you do. Move on the moon and show the future is you. Do what you do, do what you do. Move on the moon and show the future is you. Do what you do, do what you do. Move on the moon and show the future is. I started it all below the bottom. No, I didn't belong, I started calling. Now all that I lost ain't gonna stop me, 'cause all of it taught me how to solve me. A lot of years, had a lot of cheers, had a lot of days, gotta stop and stare. Lot of wants, I got a lot of fears, but know my time is here. I know my time is here. I'm singing. This has been a crazy year. Market taking, making tears. Heart is sinking, hate the mirror. Made me wanna disappear. Made me wish I wasn't here, but I know I gotta dare. People watching me to cheer. I'm reflecting out the dreams. Every question is a beam. So the blessings gave me wings to fly to you. I'm guided by the feelings inside of you. I'm guided by the things that inspire you. And we can see the future is possible. It's possible. Like, I know what I can do. Send a little love to the vibe of you. Send a little touch and we're shining through. Send a little what up you conquer to you. Do what you do, do what you do. Move on the moon and show the future is you. Do what you do, do what you do. Move on the moon and show the future is. A lot of years, had a lot of cheers, had a lot of days, gotta stop and stare. Lot of wants, I got a lot of fears, but know my time is here. I know my time is here. I'm singing. Working on the dream on my off days. Money gotta talk what the cards say. Life is a game that you gotta play. And I've been taking shots from a far away spot. I was in the hack but my heart ain't dry. I'ma get it back in a few more stops. Trying to make me feel I can do what I do. I'll be doing me till the future is you. I started it all below the bottom. I didn't belong, I started calling. Now all that I lost ain't gonna stop me, 'cause all of it taught me how to solve me. Do what you do, do what you do. Move to the moon until the future is you. Do what you do, do what you do. Move to the moon until the future is.
Do it.
Yeah.
Alright guys, hey, what's up? Ian here, and we're live here being joined by the amazing Ferrum team, winners of our Crypto World Tour event in Lagos, Nigeria, the biggest event in Africa we had last year. And guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ian. It's great to be here.
Alright, so we're being joined by a fellow Ian Fiend, and also by the CEO, Naeem, right? So tell us, what are you guys working on?
So Ferrum is a high-speed interoperability solution with 4 decentralized financial applications built on top of it. So with Ferrum, you can exchange and transact any digital asset in milliseconds for near zero network fees. And what it allows us to do is build decentralized wallet, decentralized exchange, fiat gateway, and we built this cool new product called the Sub-Zero wallet, which we can get into a little later. But that's pretty much the gist of what Ferrum is.
All right, cool. All right, hey guys, so this is going out to both YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, also the podcast. If you have any questions, ask them in the YouTube comments. We also have a Minty code available. If there are any issues with the live stream, just tell us in the comments on YouTube, and we'll try to respond to it. Okay, some people are saying the sound is low. Okay.
Which sound is low? Is it?
Yeah. Can you guys please specify which sound you're having issues hearing? Maybe it's might be a little closer. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. right? But so go ahead and just kind of tell us how you guys got involved in blockchain as I try to look into the sound issues here. Apologies for that, guys.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just quickly give my story in 30-second version. I'm an attorney by trade. I was practicing law at a big law firm in New York City for the past 6-7 years. Got into crypto on an investor, from an investor standpoint, a few years back. Realized there was an opportunity from a professional standpoint, getting clients, advising them on security law and things of that nature. So formed the blockchain practice team at my law firm with a pretty well-known attorney there, partner. Started building out a client base, going to networking events. That's where I met Naeem. And he basically told me, hey, I'm a developer. I built this network and I can execute Bitcoin and Ethereum transactions in under a second, peer-to-peer. And I was like, wait, that's one of the biggest problems in crypto. This is amazing. So we started working together from that time. That was about in March. Got invited to Consensus, pitched our project there, and then things kind of just took off. We can get into the whole what's happened since then, but I'll let Nate jump in and give his piece.
Yeah, so my first introduction with blockchain was actually in 2008 when I was doing my PhD in distributed database system, and I come across the Bitcoin white paper, which was really interesting. Use of a distributed database system for very novel applications, but very interesting. So I got technically interested in blockchain since then. Then move on. Time moved on. I'm just keeping my connection. I moved on, joined Microsoft, and then Amazon afterwards. Recently came back to fintech, joined Bloomberg, and since a year ago, I started to do something serious about the state of blockchain technology. And to me, the major problem we have is interconnectivity. So I want to, we know that it's important to connect the networks. So I want to build a better interconnectivity solution for basically.
So basically, the Internet of Blockchains, bridging multiple blockchains together.
Yes. So
this is the problem that James.
Blockchains together.
I mean, lots of companies are trying to solve this problem, right? So what made you want to go after the same problem but in a different manner?
So first, lots of companies are trying to solve it. Now, when I started about a year ago, there were less companies. But I was looking at it as a very specific lens. I wanted to have the interconnectivity solution for financial application transactions, not a general thing, not a new blockchain something. So I wanted to do something like the Visa network in relation to the banking system. So the idea was to be able to transact Bitcoin, Ethereum, different assets in on-chain. So similar to what Lightning Network does. So the initial idea of Ferrum was do something like that, but on-chain and very fast. So so the focus was on payment systems and real-world applications. And that also falls into, if you look at all the work that we are doing with Ferrum, that you see that approach, that we are focused on applications, not only the blockchain itself. The blockchain is an enabler, but we also have, but I think eventually applications and customers are what will the model that they look.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is, right, how do you plan to compete against the other blockchains, right, that maybe have first mover advantage? You have Icon, you have OneChain, Aeon. There's one with a P, there's Cosmos, and some other one being done by the co-founder of Ethereum, right? So this is some pretty hefty competition.
So, well, yeah, that's really actually great answer. So, first of all, I think the state of, even though there is a lot of competition, the state of blockchain is still, we are in still the first day. We are still day one. There's a lot of room to grow for everybody everybody and do really unique applications. The way we are approaching the problem is through concrete user acquisition and product mechanism. So Ian is going to talk a little bit more about that. But we are already, even we haven't launched the mainnet or testnet yet, but we have an application that we're going to launch in West Africa with a bunch of users. And my prediction, so I was looking at the ICOs transactions. I think ICOs start about 1,000 transactions per day. It's 100 million market cap. And what we're going to do is, the moment we launch the mainnet, we're going to have many thousands of transactions already on the network, because we're already going to have this West African customers using our wallet, and which we go into in detail a bit more. So we are approaching this by grabbing markets in where there is most needs, building products that customers use. You don't need to know that it's blockchain. You don't need to know that it's interchain or whatever. You just need to feel comfortable, easy to use, and the blockchain provides the security on the back end. So we just going to focus on the market, on the business. We don't really care about the infrastructure, even though our product is the infrastructure. That is not how we're marketing the product. We're marketing as an application that solves a problem. And that's how we're going to head.
So what is the stage of development with the product right now?
What?
What is the stage of development with the product?
Okay. So the development is, we haven't released anything yet. We have the demos and basically beta products ready. The testnet is ready, haven't released yet, but we're gonna launch a wallet, crypto wallet, with a fiat exchange in Africa in a few weeks, and we're trying to grow that. And this crypto wallet is gonna be backed with the Ferrum Network. It's gonna be running on a specific Ferrum testnet, which allows us to develop the Ferrum testnet further on. With this single application, and then in a couple months we're going to launch the Ferrum testnet, and after that Ferrum mainnet in Q2, with already the West African wallet is already running basically. So we got a production application, a production wallet will be in Google Play pretty soon. People will start using it. It will be run by Ferrum Network. But the Ferrum Network is just private right now, and then we open it up.
Okay, all right. So tell us about the ICO for Ferrum Network.
So yeah, I think one of the differentiating factors of Ferrum, it's not just the high-speed interoperability network, which we're really excited about, obviously, but we've been approaching our ICO and our business from day one like a real tech startup would. So that's why we wanted to build these beta products, ultimately launch a product, acquire users, and then go out and raise money. We think our investors deserve a company that's thinking long term, that actually has a valid user acquisition strategy and a plan to grow the utility of the network. So the ICO really is gonna start shortly after we go live with the pilot of our West African exchange and wallet. So probably about a month or so from now, we're raising just $6 million. That's really all we need to build our 4 products, legal costs, marketing. That's really all we need. We felt like we're thinking long term, so we're not trying to raise more than what we need, right? I mean, the token at ICO is only going to be around 1 cent. So we think there's a lot of room to grow. We're super bullish on the long term of Ferrum. The ICO, we're taking that slowly. The market's tough. But we think launching this product will then provide a launch pad to raise $6 million.
All right, sounds good. So one question somebody has from Positive and Profitable: when is the crowd sale? Is there
So yeah, it's funny. We began conceiving of the token metrics 3-4 months ago when the market was different, and it was more geared towards a private sale and things like that. We're reconsidering things. We want to lean much more heavily on the crowd sale. We believe strongly in our community. Our community is what has helped get us to where we are today. And we understand that we're not going to succeed without a strong community. And a part of that is obviously allowing them to get involved on an early investment perspective with Ferrum. So I can't get specifics on when it's going to happen. I mean, like I said, we need to launch this product to raise a bit more seed to help us get to the public sale round. But I can assure you that it's going to be a robust public sale, and we want many people to be able to get involved with that.
Okay, so one question somebody has is, most of the centralized exchanges, in terms of volume, comes from high-frequency traders. No DEX has this right now because of the transaction fees that come from high-frequency trading. So how are you planning to take care of this?
Okay, interesting. So that is one of the unique. That's actually a very good question. So one of the unique features of Ferrum DEX is its ability. So not Ferrum DEX, Ferrum Network. It allows very easy off-chain transactions and on-chain settlements. So what it means that we built in a special type of transaction in the Ferrum. And actually, it was in my mind. So that's one of the things that we really had in mind when we were building the Ferrum Network, and we wanted to make sure that we're not limited by every transaction has to settle immediately on chain. So the way it works is we have a sort of a smart contract built into the network. It's not in a smart contract, it's just a special transaction that people can use, can do their settlements, do their basically transactions. And at the end of the day, they do 1,000 transactions, for example, and then they can aggregate that to convert it to a small set of transactions and submit it to the network. So this enables high frequency. I think it's one of the unique features of the Ferrum networks that you could implement high frequency trading on the Ferrum network on a DEX that is backed by Ferrum network, and it's probably going to be one of the features. It's going to VR, or it says the DEX is not our first product, but it's when we get there, we are going to be one of the unique networks that allows high frequency trading. And the details of it is in the technical detail. I don't think we can get too much into the way this special contract works. So you can think of it as a built-in Lightning network built into the Ferrum network. So you can immediately bring your transactions off-chain, do your transactions, summarize it, and just submit the summary to the network.
Okay. Apologies, guys. It seems we're having some issues with the lag, but we'll just try to keep on going. We're also filming this as well, so we can always upload the finished version for anybody who has any issues with this live stream. So you had a demo plan to show us, right? But I think we're kind of having issues with the lag, so I'm not sure how well that's going to come out.
So let's see if I can share my screen for you.
Okay, so
I'm signed in a different computer, so
we can get going on the demo, setting that up, and I can field any questions that are you're getting on the chat.
Yeah, so some questions people have are, what are the token metrics? Total supply of tokens, and then so first answer that in terms of token metrics?
Yeah. So the token metrics can be found on our one pagers on the website, but basically it's 1 billion total tokens. We're selling 40%. We're raising $6 million. It's about 1.5 cents per token. You can look at the breakdown of where the tokens that we're retaining and what they're being allocated towards. Large part of it has to do with marketing, obviously, listing on exchanges, things of that nature. But I mean, it's pretty, I think, a straightforward token metrics. The only unique thing is, like I said, we're committing to a crowd sale, and we're going to release the details of that probably the next few weeks.
Okay.
Okay. So here you see, if you see my shared window, I have opened two Ferrum wallets on the left and right. Two different people have signed in. Two different accounts have signed in, and just the wallet just looks like a normal wallet with multiple assets here. Right now we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, we can we're going to onboard a lot more, and you just can do typical things that you can do with a wallet. You don't really feel that it's a very unique technology, but what is really backing this wallet is the Ferrum Network. This wallet has got no database. It is directly talking with the Ferrum Network. So I have already deposited Bitcoin to my address here. You can send actual Bitcoin here, and it shows up that even though it's a test net, so I don't send a lot of Bitcoin. Here I go. I can let's see this. Okay. So here I'm going to send for the demo. I'm going to send the Bitcoin to this other wallet on this side. Just show how we're changing the way you can actually deal with cryptocurrencies, and just imagine how powerful it is. So I'm going to send some Bitcoin to this address, okay?
Okay.
And so keep in mind, the receiver is a Ferrum address, it's not a Bitcoin address. So you can send Bitcoin to a Ferrum address. You can also send Bitcoin to a Bitcoin address, but then it uses the Bitcoin network. It has to go outside the Ferrum network to use the Bitcoin network. But as long as the receiver has a Ferrum address, let's say I have how much Bitcoin I have? 0.01. Okay. Send. Nine. And if I go here, and I can just go to that activity. The transaction is already confirmed, right? So it was instant, running on-chain settlement is not, if there's no layers in the backend. So I immediately sent one Bitcoin. It costed me 1 Ferrum token, and not 1 Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin to the other wallet. So you see just one feature. Lightning Network's already there.
So how many currencies can you support?
So the way, theoretically, we can do, as long as you have the network that we are going to talk to has a secret, like a private key for the transactions, and they have an API that we can, the nodes has an API to validate the transaction. In theory, we can support it. Right now, we have connected it to Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple. We're going to, and obviously, when you connect to Ethereum, you get all the gas. We are going to connect the big ones to start with, but it will be an open project. So anybody can write a plugin for their own network, and only the nodes. So eventually what's going to happen is you're going to have all these different currencies that are representing external networks. You might not even, the node that you're running might not have a way to confirm that transaction at the original network, but it knows that whatever happens is that Ferrum network is valid so far, But at the end of the day, nodes that have plugins for their, like that obscure network that someone adds, those nodes can talk to each other. The rest can just assume. But all the nodes are going to have top whatever we're going to launch with, maybe top 10 nodes. But theoretically, you can do pretty much everything. In practice, we're going to see how the community starts adopting it. It's open.
Okay, so I mean, I'm seeing all these different things happening, but I'm still kind of having an issue understanding what exactly you do. Right? It seems you kind of have many things you do, right? But what's your main focus in terms of Ferrum Network? Is it the DEX?
I can see where you get that impression because, like we said, we wanted to show our investors, our community, that we're capable of building great products and solving major problems in crypto. This wallet you see here is still in beta. It has actually our main focus. Our main focus, as of now, has been the West African fiat gateway and mobile wallet. You can think of that kind of like a Coinbase plus Venmo, but for that specific market. Once that is completely built out, like we said, we're launching a pilot of that in a few weeks. Once a few bugs have been worked out, we already have 400 people signed up for the pilot program of that. Once we get that product up and running, proving it's worked, then we turn to our next product. But you have to look at the Ferrum products in their totality. It's a suite of kind of vertically integrated financial products running on the Ferrum Network, which allows you to buy crypto, exchange crypto, transact it, like send it to a friend or loved one, and then also store it. So it's you can think of this kind of financial ecosystem built running on Ferrum, which means it's decentralized.
So building on what Dean says, the network, the technology is very powerful. You can do a lot of it. You can think of it as a platform for decentralized exchanges. You can think of it as a platform for scalability, a competitor to Balina. You can think of it as a payment solution. Obviously, business doesn't work that way, right? You cannot have all these businesses. So the technology is powerful, but we are approaching the business very different. We have this wallet for you that for interacting with network, but our business focus is phase one, completely focused on West African crypto wallet. We launched that under the brand KuCoin Exchange, which is an African brand. It's just users of that application don't even need to know that it's powered by Ferrum because it just solves the problem. Sending money around. Just think about it such as a Coinbase wallet plus Venmo. That's the wallet you will see in a couple of weeks. You will be able to download it from Play Store. So it just solves a problem. They don't care if it's running by Ferrum Network or whatever. That is the business focus. What you see here is the technology abilities. And we have these products. They are beta. We're going to launch. We're going to open source and people can play with and improve on, and then organic community can grow. And then we have the business focus, which based on the West Africa wallet, which think of it as Coinbase wallet plus Venmo for West Africa. Is a massive market. There's a lot of work we can do. There's a lot of posts we can get there. Hundreds of millions of people that really use crypto for day-to-day work. And once we get there, once we reach that maturity, then we can grow the business with, replicating the model or going to the DEX models and other business. But I believe there's so much potential on the business side that is just like we're going to be dealing with that market for a while. And obviously, the technology should be able to support all those applications. And what you see here is the technology, and and the business is two different things. Basically, okay. You support each other, but the focuses are different.
All right, so let's take some questions from the audience. And once again, guys, apologies for the lag. We'll be uploading a version of the live stream. Hopefully it has no lag. So one person is asking, what's the issue with atomic swaps? Why is that not a good thing?
Okay, so that's a good question. I actually love Atomic Swap. Atomic Swap is a very interesting, very good technology, and it's beautiful because you can exchange transactions without really needing a new network, or it's also very secure, and the security is controlled with the external network. The issue but it comes like any other technology has its limitation. And its limitation of atomic swap is it's slow and expensive, because when you do atomic swap, you run two transactions on two networks. Like, think about Bitcoin versus Ethereum. You run one Bitcoin transaction, one Ethereum transaction, and you pay double fees, and you're as fast as the slowest network. So it's an amazing innovation. It's at its own place. It has shortcomings. Obviously, it's being slow and expensive. So for that, in Ferrum Network, we are using the different technology. We're using decentralized proxy tokens, which is I can think of it like I can describe it in a way that you represent values of other networks in bulk in the Ferrum network. So you import bulk a bunch of Bitcoin, import bulk a bunch of Ethereum. So now you have all these assets in the network. So you can use it with the Ferrum network SLA. You can, like you said, send Bitcoin immediately. And the transaction was immediately confirmed. That wasn't an actual Bitcoin transaction, that was a proxy transaction. And these transactions do not need to show up in the Bitcoin network, every single of them. A bulk result will show up on the Bitcoin network. So it's a different technology. They have different, has a different use case. It's very useful for our use case, which is financial applications. But also, like atomic swap, I think it's a good technology, and it has its own place.
Okay, so next question from Drewy. Can people buy cryptocurrency without any verification? Basically, can they buy with no KYC?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot, because we are planning to build a DEX. Obviously, with the KuCoin exchange, our West African exchange and wallet that deals with fiat, you of course need to be KYC'd. With respect to the decentralized exchange, look, I'm an attorney. I'm not going to say every jurisdiction has some sort of KYC regulation. There's going to be DEXs out there that say we're not going to bother with it. To us, we're thinking about this from a long-term business standpoint. It puts not only the company at risk, it can actually put the individual owners of the company at risk. Governments take those laws very seriously. There's a reason why they exist. Terrorism is a real thing. There are certainly, there's going to be products out there that will not KYC you. I can't make any promises that Ferrum is going to be that one for you.
So you can do whatever you want. There are OTC off market different things. I think a product, a company has to comply with regulation of the jurisdiction.
All right, so let's open up the Mentimeter and see what questions people have. So let's just give me a minute here, guys. If anybody has any questions you would like to ask, just go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 314093. That's 314093. Send us your questions, and we'll take them from there. Okay. Now, are you guys done with the demo?
So I can show more features. Like let's show the very interesting direct OTC feature of the Ferrum wallet. So this is let's say I want to send to this guy some Ferrum token, actually. I'm going to send them 100 Ferrum tokens in exchange of, see what this guy has. In exchange of a little bit of, this is a cool, so let's say in exchange of a little bit of true USD. So I'm going to send 100 Ferrum tokens in exchange of true. This is not an exchange of like a marketplace exchange, it's a direct OTC transaction. Two people make a, come up with an agreement that we want to do this, and so this has, I have to provide this address here. I'm going to give you I'm going to request a second. USD. Okay, a little bit of Bitcoin, 0.001. I'm going to request 0.001 Bitcoin for the exchange of 100 tokens. Submit the transaction. So this is interesting because it adds, this is an OTC transaction without a counterparty. And it has some interesting side effects that I'm going to show you. So it shows up here. So just look there. Okay, it shows up here that someone is asking me to, giving me 100 Ferrum tokens for this UTC. I said, okay, I'm going to claim it. I will accept it. And if I go here, I should have a tiny bit more BTC. How to see on the numbers, but if I go to account activity, you can see this transaction is confirmed and 100 Ferrum for this BTC account. And this removes the third party out of an OTC, so there's opportunity for doing, especially in this place where there's a market that people want to trade and see that is a useful feature. Another benefit that it brings is it gives you, because it's a two-way transaction and it's built into the network, both sides have to accept it. So another benefit that it brings is you can use this type of transaction to send money to someone, but accept that the other party to accept it. So then there is no issue with with losing Bitcoin because you send it to the wrong address. You send it to the wrong. We have it like in the send features. When I send Bitcoin, this is option request confirmation. This is using the same type of transaction, so you can request confirmation. You can request the other party to accept the transaction for the transaction to go through. So if you send money to the wrong address, and the other party,
you're basically doing an OTC
shit.
trade, right, on the Ferrum network with multiple currencies.
What?
So you're basically doing an OTC trade with multiple currencies on the Ferrum network.
Yes, it can be same currency, it can be multiple currencies. It gets multiple, it adds you some side features, but usually you do OTC for multiple currencies.
Yeah. You can think of it as a risk-free OTC trade because both sides have to confirm the transaction, and you have that same feature when you just want to send Bitcoin as a remittance. Say you owe someone money, they want to pay you Bitcoin. You press the request confirmation to prevent accidental loss button, and that prevents you from sending the money to the wrong address. It's really just simple as that. We think that's a big problem, right? Like, how many times have you sent or received crypto and you're triple checking you're sending it to the right address because you don't want to lose it, right? So, that's a big problem. And it's a little features like this that, you could overlook them easily, but really they're quite powerful. But then one more thing I just want to touch on in the demo is you see that every time you want to run a transaction, it actually costs 1 Ferrum, or in certain instances 3, whatever the case may be. This the reason why transactions cost Ferrum in the network, it's really, you think of it like Ethereum gas. It's an anti-spamming measure. It increases the speed of transactions and so forth. But the unique thing about the Ferrum token, and this actually goes back to token metrics, is that every time a Ferrum token is spent, it's burned. Okay, so the supply, if there's people running transactions on the network like we expect they will when we launch in West Africa, the supply of the tokens is going to be going down. So I mean that benefits the, we think that benefits the ecosystem. Now for folks who are wondering, well, wait, if Ferrum is wildly successful and doesn't that mean the price of the token is going up, so the price of transactions are going up? Well, I mean, yes, but it's very simple to just always make sure that the amount of Ferrum spent per transaction is always 1 cent. And that's our goal, right? Because we're trying to be a fast, cheap network. And we're not trying to run a situation like back in December 2017 where, Bitcoin transaction costs $5. We're not going to allow that to happen. But the point is, the ecosystem is such that the supply is always going down.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. All right, is there anything else you guys want to cover?
So there are more things to the demo, but there are videos on our website. People can go and watch our YouTube channel.
And if people have more questions about Ferrum Network, where can they find that? Is there a white paper or website?
Yeah. We have a website, ferrum.network. The white paper is up there. We'll be releasing the technical paper soon. You can join our Telegram community. There's actually one thing I wanted to announce if we're wrapping up here. So I know we've been touching on the West African exchange a lot, and it turns out that we're not the only ones excited about that. So the fact that we can now bring new digital assets to this massive market through our exchange has been very attractive to some of the major companies and players in crypto. So I'm really excited to announce here, this is an exclusive announcement. No one knows about this except our team. But we're going to be working with Gemini, the Gemini exchange, to bring Gemini dollar GUSD to KuCoin exchange in West Africa. This will be the first US dollar-backed stablecoin available to that market. And since we're doing it with the help of Gemini, we're very excited. We think there's a tremendous use case there, a tremendous need there, and it's a huge differentiating factor for our exchange. And that's just the start. So we're in talks with a bunch of other companies to do the same thing. I can't name names because it's early talks with a lot of them, but we're going to keep bringing new assets to West Africa, just like we're doing with Gemini. We're really excited about it.
All right, that's great news. Congratulations. So you bring in the US dollar-backed stablecoin to West Africa market.
Exactly, yeah. I think there's a huge demand for it there. There's a huge appetite for something that's stable because their own fiat currency has some inflation problems.
And for people who don't really understand how big that is, right? I just came from West Africa, right, from Nigeria, where I was pretty much dumbfounded. It's almost impossible to convert Naira, the local Nigerian currency, to the US dollar. Because there have just been so many, I guess, I won't say scams or corruption, but it's trust that there is a very big factor, right? And to a point almost nobody will convert Naira to dollars. It is very hard, very tough to do that. So to bring a US-backed stablecoin to Nigeria or West Africa is pretty huge.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we feel the exact same way. I mean, I spent some time there myself. The demand, I think, is there. The need is definitely there. It's just a matter of education. And then, like you said, fundamentally, there's a trust issue that kind of pervades the financial system there. But the way you solve that is just building great products, being a real company, providing value to customers, and that's what we're doing there. So we're really excited about the future of Ferrum. This is just the start. People who are interested in getting involved can join our community. And one last thing, we're going to be opening up the whitelist again for a short amount of time because we're gearing up for the public sale. So people who want to get involved with that can fill out the whitelist form.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, if anybody has any last questions, please ask them on YouTube. Let me see. So people seem pretty impressed. People like the FedEx OTC feature. The DBN says that's fantastic. We see Sir Ishi just joined in. It's saying good job, Ferrum Network. Okay. All right. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for the live stream and for the demo. If anybody has any questions, just go to their website and their Telegram group. That's Ferrum.network, I believe.
Ferrum.network is the website. You can find links to the white paper, one-pager, Telegram chat community, everything you need. Twitter. Please join our Twitter. We haven't spent any money on marketing yet, so we're just really growing the community organically. So please, if you're excited about Ferrum, tell your friends about it. We're trying to survive for the long